Call of Duty. We're back with another one. Black Ops 7 to be exact. So, as most of you should know by now, or whether or not you do, or if you care, Black Ops 7 had a free trial period, which is basically over by the time this video is out. Basically, I got to experience a bit of multiplayer and some zombies. And by some zombies, I mean Ashes of the Damned and the survival mode, which the survival mode you're only allowed to play the farm, which is not bad. But yeah, that's what we're working with here. This is actually the first COD that I personally did not buy. I have the last Call of Duty that I did not buy was Ghosts, and I think there's a real reason why I didn't this time, and I'm gonna get into that. This video is not sponsored. Just got to let that be known. This is just my opinion and my review of the game, especially as someone who's been playing COD for years. But yeah, I'm basically just going to let you know whether or not this game is worth $70. And let's be honest, I don't think any game is even worth $60 in this day and age. But anyways, so Black Ops 7 Zombies. It feels like BO6, but it's a bit slower, which is not bad. It's not necessary for the game to be overly fast. So I don't think that that's really a drawback. I will say that it did feel nice to have this kind of slower pace. Obviously, playing zombies, you have stamina. So stamina up allows you to move faster, which that ups the pace of the game, which again, it's not bad. It's a good addition to it. But as far as the map is concerned, I will say that the farm map did feel very nice. I did play Ashes of the Damned a little bit. I just wasn't really a fan of it. I see what they were trying to go with like the transit style with, you have the car, but you actually drive it around. But personally, I just wasn't a fan of that. It doesn't feel like transit. It doesn't feel like any of that. And the reason why I say that is because there was a lot of people being brought in by nostalgia, which is what obviously Activision and Treyarch and all of them were going off. And that's the big thing that really gets people is the nostalgia factor. It's never going to feel the same as the original. We all know this. Yeah, that's that. Even, with the free access, obviously I was only able to play Ashes of the Damned and the one map on survival. I still think that it was a good, way to really get people into the game. You know, it was fun. I will say that. Yes, it was fun. But I don't get that feeling that older Call of Duties gave me when you first play it, where it's like, damn, this is something. To me, it's just the same shit at this rate. It really just is. Like going from Cold War up until Black Ops 7 now, it's more or less the same, just with different things. Obviously, the augments are literally the same. Every single upgrade for every perk is the same, with the addition of, a new perk, Wisp T, which is pretty cool. And some new field upgrades. But, other than that, there's really nothing crazy. It's playable. I don't hate it. It's definitely something that, if I did buy it, I would just sit here and play it once in a while and then move on and play something else. But, basically, if you want to turn your brain off and just kill zombies, it's definitely, something that I would recommend. But again, at the price point, if you're only going to play zombies, paying $70, or even now it's up for $50, which again, that sale is going to end soon, like very soon, probably by the time this video is out. But do with that with what you will. So one of the biggest positives, and I'm going to touch on this quite a bit, is the survival maps. We haven't had survival maps since Black Ops 2, and that shit came out like over a decade ago. We have not had that for a literal decade and some change. So bringing that back is definitely a nice touch, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the zombies maps that they've been releasing have not been, the best. Like Black Ops 6, I'm going to be honest, bro. The best map in the game was Citadel. 100%. Every other map was just mid. That's how I feel about it. You know, other people may feel different, but I've played all the maps, and Citadel is definitely the best one to play. Now, the cursed mode, which I unfortunately wasn't able to play because that was one of the things that the free trial limited. Basically, the cursed mode is just the classic style of zombies, which we haven't had since Black Ops 4, where, you know, you can maximize your points by shooting a zombie 4 times and then hitting them with your knife. We haven't had that since Black Ops 4, and it's been quite some time because that shit came out, what, 2018? So, it's nice that they added that, I will say. It is definitely a limiting factor that I was only able to play basically 2 maps. But, obviously one of those maps is a full-fledged map and the other one is just one small map for the survival game mode. But again, obviously the game just came out. There's only 2 maps and 2 survival maps. So really just playing 1-1 it's all right. It's not like, the game's been out for a while, you get a free trial and there's like 8 maps and you're only able to play one. Like, it's not like that. Now, as far as the pricing is concerned, let's be honest. All right, like I just said in the beginning of the video, none of these games are worth are not even worth $60, and that was the original price point for games until what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago when everything jumped up to fucking 70. Yeah, like it's not worth 70. It's not worth 60. They dropped it down to basically $50. I'm gonna be honest. If the only thing you're gonna play is zombies, it's not worth $50. I'd say wait for it to drop, or if better yet, get a key and get it for cheaper. Let's be real here, because that's what most people are gonna do. Do I think that this free trial is gonna, bring up numbers? No, I really don't. If it does, I mean, yeah, I guess, but that doesn't mean that people are gonna buy the game. Um, but again, the way that Black Ops 7 was marketed is just a whole nostalgia trip, because if you really look deep into it, it's Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 put together to make this clusterfuck of a game, because that's what it really is, which is why it got such negative reception, especially with the campaign in mind. Like, I don't even know what that is, but that's just what they wanted to go with. Their priorities are obviously misplaced when you have people in the dev team talking about a kitty cafe in a multiplayer map. Yeah, I don't know like who your target audience is. I don't even think you know who your target audience is. But hey, man, that's just me. I've been a fan of COD for a long time, but like you're charging premium price for a mediocre product. And here's the thing, right? The only reason that they're able to charge premium price is obviously because the name. At the end of the day, it's a brand. It's like Louis Vuitton, Chanel. The name of the brand is what allows them to price it at the premium price rate that games are at. If it wasn't for that, they wouldn't be able to. But hey, I don't think Call of Duty is going to really return to form anytime soon. I don't think it is going to. And I don't think it ever will. Because unfortunately, the way that Call of Duty has been taking from other games, specifically Fortnite, it's changing the game and it's alienating the real player base. And also the fact that they prioritize these big streamers who just glaze the game and glaze the company all the time. You know? Like that you're not prioritizing your whole audience, because those people, I'm gonna be honest, bro, those people are nothing compared to your full audience. They're literally, compared to your audience, they are 1%. They want to play the game competitively. They want, all this other BS. It's not, they're not thinking for every player. They're thinking for themselves, because at the end of the day, they treat it like a job. playing a game for them is a job. They have to be good. They have to be the best at everything because unfortunately, the way the video games are set up, it's, you know, you get some validation for it. And I understand. I was a kid once, you know. I understand you get that validation from playing it that you don't get anywhere else from being good, you know. But it's really been poisoning the Call of Duty community for a very long time now, and it's sad to see, you know. But that's just the way things are. It really is. Um, I did play multiplayer. With that being said, I did play multiplayer, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know how I feel about it. I played again. I played Black Ops 6 a whole lot since it came out, and you know I the multiplayer was all right. It's not good. It's all right. The multiplayer in Black Ops 7, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. It just feels weird. There's definitely some aspects in there that they try to pull from, you know, Black Ops 3 and all that, you know, with the walls and stuff, but even then that's pretty minimal. Really not much is going on there. And you know, the removal of SPMM, do I believe that? No, not in the slightest. I'm going to be honest with you. I will That's one thing that I will never believe, that SPMM is really gone. And another thing, when it comes to cheaters, right? I'm going to keep it a buck. If you really believe that the anti-cheat in Call of Duty has ever worked, you might want to like wake up a little bit and come to reality and understand that it has never worked. The only reason that the anti-cheat is there is to say that it's there because everyone keeps complaining about cheaters. But even after all this time, when anti-cheat has been in the game or in the past few games, and you know you're still running into cheaters, no one questions why is that. But it's like, yeah, because it doesn't work. You know, Battlefield 6's anti-cheat works. They just get kicked from the game, or they just can't even play the game. You know, but they don't really care about that because they're not investing into something for the players. They don't care. And I'm gonna be honest, when you have your hardcore players like like you know the streamers that do the tournaments and all that, when even they're complaining about hackers, when most of them hack, that's a pretty telltale sign that there's a big problem. But you know, it is what it is. I guess I'm only one person. I am just the average player, and that's basically what this whole review is, or like first impressions. I'm coming from the viewpoint of the average player, which I am part of the bigger player base of Call of Duty. It just doesn't feel right for someone like me, and I can see why the numbers are low. You know, like, do I want to sit up here and sweat every game in order to, you know, get a good score? No, I don't, because that's draining. That is very draining to have to sit up here every game and sweat my ass off because I'm going up against the unemployment warriors. I don't want to have to sit up here and sweat all the time. It's just not fun. It's not fun at all. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way. You know, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna be honest. Based off of how people have received this game, people have received Call of Duty for like the last, you know, eight plus years. I'd I'd beg to differ. You know, like, but yeah, that's what that is. Now as far as the game itself, where do I you know leave Black Ops 7, specifically zombies in this case? It's fun, and the survival maps are great because again we haven't had that since Black Ops 2. I think that's great. It's playable. You know, during the free trial I did have fun, but however, you know, charging $70 is a bit much, you know. And even dropping it down to 50, I don't know about all that still. I still don't know about all that. You're charging $50 for nothing. That's why the sales weren't good. Battlefield 6 outsold Call of Duty and outperformed Call of Duty for the first time ever, which is crazy. Player numbers in Black Ops 7 are just not it. Sales are not it. It's not happening. And there's obviously a reason for that. Just look at it. Look at the bad reception it received with the campaign. That was the biggest point. And especially the cosmetics with the pre-order of the Vault Edition, they even had to change them up, and it still looks like shit. This is Call of Duty. It's supposed to be a military shooter, but it's not anymore. It's just because the Fortniteification of Call of Duty, where everything has to be a colorful skin. You have to have Nicki Minaj running around. Like, bro, it's Call of Duty, bro. Come on now. Let's keep it real. Um, do I think you're gonna have a good time? You probably might. You might have a better time with the rest of the game. Like I said, the zombies is playable. It's fun. It's all right. But yeah, I just don't think it justifies the price in the slightest. You know, it just does not. In my opinion, I'm gonna be honest. Wait for a future sale. If you're on PC, Steam has better deals than consoles will ever have. You know, that's I would recommend just waiting, man. That's just how I see, because increasing the prices, and also I know that it's tough times for a lot of people, myself included. Money nowadays is definitely tight, and people are more cautious with what they spend their money on. And especially when they see reviews for a game that they want to play and they see the price tag, it's really going to push people away from actually buying the product. And that's completely understandable, because why are you going to waste all this money on a product that's getting terrible reviews constantly? You know, that's just what it is. Um, but yeah, that's the video. Um, Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. This is actually my first time really doing a video like this. I just want to know everyone's thoughts. I do plan on doing more of these in the future, so any feedback is appreciated. I appreciate everyone who's watching this video for taking the time to check it out and just hearing my personal opinion on Call of Duty, specifically Black Ops 7. So yeah, please check out the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. I already said that, but yeah, I appreciate everyone, and take care.